surprise, to be sure, but a welcome one.
Stellaris Dev Diary 263 is out, and Paradox are announcing a new DLC, much to the surprise of pretty much everybody. It has come very, very quickly on the heels of the Stellaris Overlord release, the new full DLC release that we had earlier this year in May. Now in September, we're getting a species pack. I'm actually starting to think this could mean we're going to be getting some sort of other DLC, maybe a story pack, coming in another 3 months' time. As far as I knew, or as far as we've been made to believe, we were going to be getting DLC roughly every 6 months or every 2 free updates, but now we're going to be getting one immediately after the last DLC, so maybe we'll get another one with the next free update coming around December or January. But that is purely speculation. What are the facts? What do we actually know? Well, if you saw my video on Tuesday, you'll already know that this new DLC is coming out on September the 20th. That is, Stellaris Toxoids will be released alongside the new patch 3.5 Fornax update. Whether you burn the future for the benefits of today or scavenge the past, Toxoids are survivors. Toxoids gives you the chance to gamble the future of your planets for immediate gains and make the tough sacrifices necessary to survive in a hostile galaxy. But what does this new DLC, this new Toxoids Species Pack, actually bring us? Well, we're going to get our hands on 2 new Origins, 3 new Civics, 4 new traits, new cosmetics, that is an entire new species portrait set, a ship model set, and a new cityscape set that apparently only a mother could love. And on top of all of that, we will also be getting a new advisor voice coming with this DLC. We do actually have more information than that though, thank goodness. We've actually got quite a bit of depth, or at least some text, with a bit more information on all of these things I just mentioned. So let's start off with the Origins and let's break it down. And I do need to say a really big thank you to Paradox, and specifically the community manager for Stellaris, for giving me access to this dev diary a full day early so that I can prepare and make this video whilst traveling to Stockholm and en route to PDXCon. Without this help, I would have been completely unable to bring you this information until Sunday or possibly even Monday. So a big thank you to Mordred Viking. The first new origin is Knights of the Toxic God. In the depths of your homeworld, rumors rumble of a true power buried under the toxic sludge. Do you dare dredge up the secrets of your past and potentially unleash them upon the galaxy? Well, this to me sounds like a very similar origin to the Remnants origin, although it's all going to be all about being on some sort of toxic world. I don't think from this specifically that we're going to be getting to play on toxic worlds. I'm thinking this is going to be some sort of modifier or change to regular biological worlds, or regular habitable worlds I should say, that then give them some sort of toxic trait, which is going to be beneficial to our toxic species and negative to any other species. Though possibly it's just going to be negative to everyone, though less negative for us. And the second origin is Overturned. The candle that burns the brightest burns itself into the galaxy's memory. Play as a species that can gain more and more traits at the cost of its own lifespan, and live for today without worrying about sticking around for tomorrow. Now, this sounds like a really interesting and quite unique origin. Basically, by the looks of things, you're going to get your hands on more and more trait points, but the more trait points you use, the lower the lifespan of your species, meaning your leaders will be dying very, very quickly at the expense of having massively overpowered pops. What that could mean for the meta, I can't rightly say yet. However, I do think that sounds like a really, really interesting and unique origin. Possibly if you combine this with some sort of synthetic ascension, you could get the best of this and then kind of get rid of it in the mid to late game if you are getting tired of your leaders dying all the time because their lifespan is like 5 or 10 years. However, overall, yeah, very exciting new origin. And if you're enjoying this video, please toxically spam that like button. With the new civics, first up we have toxic baths. grow your population fast with a fresh infusion of mutagenic sludge, so long as you are willing to tolerate the cost to your planet and your people. Right, this I think does confirm that we're going to be getting some sort of toxic modifier. Maybe it's going to act a little bit like devastation or something like that, where we go from 0 all the way up to 100, and at 100% toxicity we're going to get some massive negative modifiers to all our pops, unless we have some special ways of getting around that. Maybe there's a special toxic trait for our pops. Anyway, this one does sound interesting. It looks like we're going to get our hands on organic pop assembly at the cost of the actual efficiency or efficacy of actually living on our world, which sounds like an interesting and good trade-off. Second, we have scavengers. One empire's trash is your empire's treasure. Don't be too proud to harvest the debris and destruction for quick construction projects of your own. I'm going to guess here this means that we can use a space debris, possibly with this Civic, that is the debris left when other spaceships battle, to not just get technology out of them, but maybe alloys, maybe even ships or something like that, which could be very, very powerful indeed. The ability to basically have something like reanimators, but instead of enemy armies dying allowing you to get new armies, it'll be enemy ships dying allowing you to get new ships. That could be really quite fun. And finally, the third new Civic is Relentless Industrialist. Now, I actually think this one does look quite great from a roleplay perspective. We don't know any of the numbers yet, but what does it do? If you're going to keep up with demand, you're going to have to learn to ignore all of those petty regulations and negative opinions. The surviving population will thank you for all of the resources you gain. Basically, I think in a similar way to toxic baths, this one is going to allow you to, in essence, give up or allow some toxicity, whatever this new thing is going to be called, on your planet in exchange for a higher efficiency when producing something like consumer goods or possibly alloys, something very important and critical for the needs of our planet. I'm actually hoping this could be some sort of megacore Civic actually, and this would be really cool if it is, because then we can finally do some of those fantastic role plays where we're going to play as a megacore that simply does not care about the environment, does not care about space, and wants to consume literally everything for the sake of profit. But what do you think about the new Stellaris Toxoids Species Pack announcement? Are you excited? Are you going to get it? Are you not interested in the slightest? Please let me know down in the comments below. I would absolutely love to hear your thoughts on this. And now there are the 4 new traits. The first is Incubator. Repopulate quickly when your planet is empty, but those growth facilities can fill up fast. I have literally no idea what the specifics on this one are. I'm assuming it's some sort of cloning or something similar to the Clone Army Origin, something like that. Maybe, possibly, it is a trait that is basically like the budding trait, but for only toxoid pops, or whatever these actual pops are going to be called, toxoids, I would assume. But what exactly it's going to be, I don't know, but I'm definitely assuming there's going to be some sort of wacky and zany pop growth mechanics coming with this one. Whether or not it is powerful or it's balanced correctly, we don't know yet, but anything which gives us more pop growth does tend to be beneficial, so I'm going to keep my eye out on this one. Inorganic breath is the second new trait. Your people are a source of valuable exotic gases. It's a shame the respirators are so expensive. I'm assuming that this is basically going to be like the lithoid trait that gives you exotic gas output from your regular pops, but this time regular biological pops. However, unlike the lithoid trait, I think we're going to get some negatives from this one. It does say it's a shame the respirators are so expensive. We might need to necessarily possibly be toxic, maybe some of this toxic trait, a special trait that we haven't seen yet, which will be key to living on the new toxic world setting I think might be coming here. But this could mean either we have to be toxic or there is some inherent negative to it. I am definitely interested in seeing what this is going to be doing though, because getting exotic gases from our pops at the start of the game could be very, very powerful indeed. Third, we have Noxious. Other species can't stand being around you, and it seems like your mere existence is making your planet awful places to live. On the other hand, other empires have a very difficult time wanting to fight or subjugate you, and it is hilarious to see the look on their faces when you're in the room. Now, Okay, this, I'm assuming, is that toxic trait I was mentioning earlier. I think it may then be called noxious. This is going to basically make our planets somehow toxic or maybe noxious, which is going to be some modifier that's either good for us or at least we can tolerate it, and really, really bad for any pops without it. I'm hoping it's especially bad for lithoids. Maybe we eat away at their mineral exoskeletons or whatever lithoids have, but either way, it's really cool to see some overarching species mechanic like this coming back again. People have time and again loved things like the necrophage mechanic or the lithoid mechanics, and definitely we know that aquatics is a great mechanic, especially because it's so powerful that people love using. So I am glad that they're including something like this in a species pack. Gone are the days of old where the species packs were literally just some portraits, some ship designs, and you were done. Now we're getting some real important in-game changes from species packs, and I think that is really, really good. Finally, the fourth new trait is exotic metabolism. You've adapted to ask, are you going to eat that? Where other species would be calling the hazmat team. Eat faster, live longer, and enjoy a terrifying rainbow of flavors. Alright, I am assuming this trait is going to increase your food upkeep. Possibly it's going to add other upkeeps too, like minerals maybe, or possibly energy, I'm not sure. But on top of that, you're also going to get some leader lifespan bonuses here. Otherwise, why would they say live longer? Unless it possibly is a reference to live fast, die young, and leave a pretty corpse. It could just be a literary reference here, so, or a movie reference. So I'm not going to entirely call that. I am 100% sure though we're going to be getting something unique happening with pop upkeep from this trait. And if all of those in-game new mechanics weren't enough for you, we're going to be getting our hands on a whole host of new species portraits. I'm assuming they'll be called the Toxoids Species Portraits. And on top of that, new ship models. You can see the ship models here. They look to me to be kind of like a mixture, somewhat a mixture between some of the anthropoid ship models possibly, but also quite kind of like salvager-y, with definitely some big hazardous, green, glowing, radioactive undertones to them. I'm not sure if they're my favorite ever ship set, but I'm definitely very intrigued to see them in more detail. We are also getting our hands on a cityscape. That specific cityscape, I don't yet know what it looks like. No one does. We haven't got any information here, though I'm assuming it's going to fit in line with the ship portraits and be somehow toxic, toxoid related, somehow basically looking like if industry has gone too far. Oh, and on top of that, there's also a new advisor voice coming. Grow your empire alongside a relentless source of noxious sarcasm. As a Brit, I would love a sarcastic advisor in Stellaris. I mean, I think there are mods that give something pretty similar to that at the moment, but basically a sarky advisor in the background that's constantly taking the mick would be absolutely hilarious. If you're not British, you don't understand a word of what I just said, I apologize. Basically, don't worry about it. For those of you that do understand what I'm talking about, maybe you like sarcasm, maybe you don't, I'm definitely a fan of it. The Dev Diary then goes on to point out that the Toxoids Species Pack and the Stellaris 3.5 Fornax update will be released very, very soon on September the 20th. That is now in under 3 weeks' time. And it will be playable at PDXCon on Friday and Saturday in Stockholm. Yes, I'm going to be at PDXCon this weekend. If you're there, feel free to say hello. But more importantly, I am going to get a chance to play Toxoids and play this in literally a day's time. And I will be bringing you my feedbacks and my thoughts on the new Toxoids Species Pack as soon as I'm back from the ParadoxCon and I can record again. So keep your eyes out for that. There is also going to be a rapid Dev Diary release schedule for the next few weeks as they attempt to cover everything that's in the Toxoids Species Pack. They'll see us next Tuesday with the next Stellaris Dev Diary. So they're no longer going to be on just Thursdays. I think they might be alternating between Tuesdays and Thursdays, but we will have to see. If you've enjoyed this video and you'd like to find out what happens if you try to never research a single technology ever in Stellaris, and if it's even possible to play a full game like that, click the video on screen now.